Third take. Just some technical glitches that I had to iron out. I hope they are ironed out. And because I want to talk about, well, we're soon counting down my fantasy playlist, try to get in a couple of songs tonight. And at number 44, up three from 47. Boy, I lost 45. I forgot about this song. Dionne Warwick, Take the Short Way Home, produced by the Bee Gees. I want to make sure I got the title of that song right. Yes, indeed. Got the video up on YouTube. That's the beauty of YouTube. They got all kinds of obscure things up. And I love it obscure. And this record is obscure. Dionne Warwick from the Heartbreaker album. Dionne Warwick, gosh dog it. We'll just start from the top. Started singing gospel when she was real young. She's related to Cissy Houston. Her sister, Dee Dee Warwick, had a number of hit records. Not big hits on the pop charts, but she had a number of sides that appeared on Billboard's Hot 100 in the 60s into the early 70s. Got a few of hers on Spotify on one of my Spotify playlists. Dee Dee Warwick. Dionne Warwick signed with Skepta Records in the early 60s. She teamed up with Hal David and Burt Bacharach, just dynamic. That they wrote all of her hit records in the 60s, pretty much. They were kind of like the Lennon and McCartney of the easy listening world. The thing about Dionne Warwick back in the 60s, you see, the thing is, and you might be old enough to understand this. Most adults over 30 years old did not like rock and roll back in the day. Slow record by the Beach Boys, a slow record by the Beatles, they could tolerate. But as rock and roll was getting reinvigorated, as it was getting reinvented in the early to mid 60s, 63, 64, 65 on, particularly in the wake of the British invasion, and as it got harder, as it got more psychedelic, with groups like the Amboy Dukes and Janis Joplin, Cream, the Beatles getting hard with Revolution, that just, a lot of 35 and 40-year-olds back then were like, what the hell is this? My God, they call this music? Let's turn on some Tom Jones, some Engelbert Humperdinck, Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, Jack Jones, Dusty Springfield, Petula Clark, Dionne Warwick. Don't Make Me Over was her first hit record, 1962, best known for Message to Michael, Walk On By, theme from the Family of the Dolls, and Do You Know the Way to San Jose. And I'm trying to think, she did another song that was redid by Aretha Franklin, but I forgot the name of the record. It doesn't come to me right now. It probably will after I'm done with this video. That's the way it works. You ad-lib a lot better when you're not doing a video as opposed when you're right in the middle of doing a video. Life ain't fair. It's just not. Two of my favorite songs by Dionne Warwick, and I know I'm rambling, just bear with me. I'll get to this song. Oh God, Trains, Boats, and Planes. That was profound. Back in the summer of 1966, Dionne Warwick, it was originally covered by Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas. That was a British invasion hit, although written by Burt Bacharach and Hal David. Not a big British invasion hit, though. And there was Promises, Promises. God, that had a great beat to it. That song was probably about as close as Dionne Warwick got to rock and roll. Promises, Promises, another production by Hal David and Burt Bacharach. But she signed a deal with Warner Brothers in 1971, $5 million deal with Warner Brothers. Think about it, $5 million in 1971. Oh God, that's like what, $50 million today, or $25 million in today's currency. But the hits fell off. She broke away from Hal David and Burt Bacharach. She did have a massive comeback. Oh God, it's still overplayed on the oldie stations. Then Came You, produced by the legendary Tom Bell of Sigma, I think it's Sigma Sound Productions, Philly International. Tom Bell, who was producing hit records by the Spinners and the Stylistics. And of course, she did that song in conjunction with the Spinners, a song that Dionne Warwick was not even crazy about until it became a big hit. And she switched record labels later in the 70s. She went to Arista Records, Clive Davis's record label, in 1979, and she came out with another massive comeback. I'll Never Love This Way Again. 1979 went to number 5. Guess who produced it? Another Arista signed artist produced that record. Barry Manilow. Yes, Barry Manilow. He was a brilliant arranger and a producer on the side. And Deja Vu came after that. Winter 79, 1980, also produced by Barry Manilow. That song went to number 1 on Adult Contemporary. But let's jump up to 1982. She came out with Heartbreaker. The album Heartbreaker. Dionne Warwick was not crazy about the record, Heartbreaker. Another big comeback for her in late 82, early 83. But she signed on to the record because the Bee Gees produced it, and the Bee Gees thought it was going to be a hit. Barry Gibb. She said, okay, I'll have a go at this record. And the record at number 44 on my fantasy playlist, Take the Short Way Home, at number 44 on my fantasy playlist. And I just glanced at the charts. I think the song just barely made top 30 on Billboard's Hot 100. And I'm looking at some other stuff that I might have missed about Dionne Warwick. The album that she did after this, after Heartbreaker, produced by Luther Vandross. Oh, well, what the heck. Let's go ahead and wrap up this video. I rambled too much on this thing anyway. Heartbreaker, actually, from Heartbreaker, Take the Short Way Home, Dionne Warwick, at number 44. Fantasy Playlist, March 18th, 1983.